After days of absolute silence, Nigel Farage has finally been cornered about Sarah Pochin's comments, and what he gave us wasn't a condemnation, it was a calculated, incredibly weak defence that tells you everything about the toxic culture he's allowing to flourish inside his party. He says the remarks were ugly, clumsy, and are very unpleasant indeed, but he absolutely, repeatedly refuses to use the only accurate word, racist. He's trying to gaslight the entire country, claiming that without a deep racist intention, it's somehow not a racist comment. Intentions don't matter when the words are that poisonous. But the desperation is the key. Watch how quickly he pivots, trying to distract the media with every other political scandal he can think of. Tower Hamlets, grooming gangs, anything to get the spotlight off his MP. It's a political tactic so transparent it's insulting. Farage is showing one of two things. This entire thing's been planned from the start and this is just another part of the script, or he's incredibly weak and unable to control the dangerous elements in his own party. But I don't really know which one's worse, if I'm honest. So here's what he initially said when he got the first question about it.
The words that Sarah Pochin used in response to a caller into talk radio on Saturday morning were without ugly and taken on their own, could be read to be very, very unpleasant indeed. I am unhappy with what she has done. I can't underestimate that, and she fully knows how I feel. However, it was in the broader context of DEI madness in the advertising industry, something which anybody with half a brain can recognise has been going on since about 2021. So I understand the basic point, but the way she put it, the way she worded it, was wrong and was ugly. And if I thought that the intention behind it was racist, then I would have taken a lot more action than I have to date. And that is because I don't.
And he repeats this flimsy defence several times. If you take the remarks literally as they're on their own, you can put the worst of all interpretations on it. But he argues they must be viewed within the broader picture of the sort of collective madness under DEI banner that's overcome the advertising industry. We don't have DEI in the UK. That's an American thing. So he's defending her racism because it was just part of something that doesn't even exist in the UK. That's an insane pivot. And yet when the questions keep coming, you can see he's getting really annoyed about them. And instead of doubling down on the intentions defence, he just throws a handful of smoke into the air and runs. He immediately pivots to other controversies, saying that if you want to talk about racism, there's proper racism happening in Tower Hamlets over the weekend, but no one asked a question about it. He tried to paint the media as disinterested in outright racist, violent and dangerous scenes in Tower Hamlets while hammering him on Pochin.
On Sarah Pochin, she said that the sight of brown people and black people in adverts drives her mad. Can you not see... You say you don't think the intention was racist, but can you not see why the Prime Minister, why the Liberal Democrats, why the Conservatives say that they think those remarks were racist? Are you prepared to label those remarks racist?
I think I've answered the question already. The remarks were ugly, clumsy, put in a way that if you take them literally as they are on their own, you can put the worst of all interpretations on it. I understand the context in which she said it. I don't like the way in which she did it. I am very unhappy with her indeed. But if I felt the intention was deliberately and genuinely racist, I would have taken a different course of action. But, whilst I've already said I thought Sarah's comments were ugly and out of place, they're not intentioned to be deeply unpleasant, there was proper racism happening in Tower Hamlets over the weekend, but no one's asked a question about that until you. Yeah. None of the broadcasters are even interested in that, and I doubt they'll show the pictures. Yeah, outright intimidation to the point of sort of basically urging the mass wipeout of huge numbers of Jewish people.
On the comments that Sarah Pochin made, you say they were ugly and were very unpleasant indeed. However, going back to earlier points, can you explain how they're not racist?
I've already said, taken on their own and not in context, you could read them that way. Within the broader picture of the sort of collective madness under the DEI banner, that has overcome the advertising industry. That is the context in which they're made. But they were very unwise words to utter in any context, all right? I don't think I can be clearer about that, but I don't believe they had a deep racist intention behind them. If I did, I would have acted differently. And I think if you look, Ben, at my career, over a quarter of a century in public life, you know, I have always made sure, whichever party I've been running or in a senior position, that we didn't align with anything like that at all. And I've been very strict on that. I'm going way back to the early 2000s in that being the view, and one that I've upheld right throughout my time in politics and public life. Okay.
Just on Pochin again, do you understand how her remarks likening anger and the colour of people's skin, black and Asian, can feel to people who are black and Asian?
I do understand that all sorts of comments can cause harm. Absolutely. But I would ask you, when you report about the racist row from the weekend, to make sure you put Tower Hamlets in your article too. What Sarah said was ugly, misplaced, wrong, and taken in the wrong context could be seen to be awful. It wasn't. It was part of a bigger conversation about the advertising industry. What happened in Tower Hamlets at the weekend was outright racist, violent, and dangerous.
Did you see the strategy? When asked a question about his party racism, the answer is to frantically point to someone else. Look over there. Shows that he has no honest answer and no real condemnation. He's simply playing political game of distraction. He had a chance to show leadership, to prove his party could be a serious political force by condemning an obvious racist statement. He failed. He chose deflection over duty. He chose to hide behind the excuse of intention while refusing to acknowledge the reality of the words. The defence is worse than the original comment. But then this is Farage, isn't it? He's only just got back up to 5 MPs. I doubt he's going to get back down to 4 anytime soon. And if you want to see why the Tories have missed a complete open goal with this, well, you need to watch the video that's on screen now. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button. And I'll see you next time.